Welcome back to the Living Simpler podcast. I am so glad you are here today. If you are new here, I am Amy Mewborn, and this show is about living a healthier, more intentional, and more aligned life on your terms, in your body, and at your own pace. And today's episode is a little different. It is a little more personal, a lot more reflective, and I think it might be one of the most honest conversations I have had on this show. This week, I am turning 50. And to mark this moment, I wanted to sit down with you and share the 50 lessons that have most shaped who I am, how I live, how I run my businesses, and how I take care of my health. I believe that life choices are quite personal, so this is not a suggestion on how you should live your life, but it is some of the things I've learned about myself and my life that may be helpful to you. Today is part 1. We are covering the first 25 lessons. Next week, part 2, will bring the final 25, and I cannot wait to share those with you too. So grab your coffee, grab your tea, take a walk with me, or sit on your back porch in the sunshine and just be present with this one, because I have a feeling at least a few of these are going to land somewhere deep in you. Let me tell you a little about the life that got me to 50. So you understand where these lessons come from. I started in finance at 19 years old. I had a stroke at 29. I left finance to open 2 boutique fitness studios at 34. I sold those at 41. I ended up with mold poisoning at 47. I started living simpler and my wellness business at 47. I was diagnosed with a life-altering autoimmune disease at 48. Sometimes I feel like I have lived many lifetimes. I have certainly had many careers, and every single one of those chapters, even the painful ones, especially the painful ones, gave me something that I now get to bring to you here on this show, inside the Living Simpler Collective, and inside everything we are building together through the Living Simpler app. So let's get into it. These are my 50 lessons as I turn 50. Lesson 1, and what I believe is one of the most important: you are allowed to change your mind. You do not have to keep wanting something just because you once worked hard for it. In finance, they call it the sunk cost fallacy. Once you chose it, it is hard to stop it or give it away. I want to sit with this one for a second, because I think this is one of the biggest things that keeps brilliant, capable women stuck. We think that because we sacrifice to get somewhere, we have to stay there. We think the effort we already put in obligates us to keep going, even when every single part of us knows it is time to move on. But here is what I have learned. Staying in something out of guilt about what you already invested does not honor the investment. It wastes what you have left to give. You are allowed to change your mind. It isn't failure. It's wisdom. Lesson 2, the life you dreamed of at 30 may not be the life you want at 50, and that is okay. At 24, I got a finance job that so many people would have dreamt of, and there was a day, 9 years later, that made that job feel like my own personal prison. People could not fathom me leaving a solid 6-figure finance career with a 4-day work week and 5 weeks of vacation to go launch my own business and work long hours for no guaranteed money. But I knew deep in my bones that I was no longer the same person I was when I took that job at 24. That is such an important distinction. You are not the same person you were 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, or even last year. Growth changes what we need, experiences change what we value, health changes what we are capable of and what we are willing to tolerate. The life you designed for a former version of yourself deserves to be redesigned for the current version of you, the evolution of you. Lesson 3, peace is one of the greatest forms of success. If your success costs you your health, your marriage, your joy, or your nervous system, it is too expensive. Mic drop. There is very little I can say beyond this to clarify just how important and personal this is. My definition of success at age 50 is way different than my definition of success at age 30. Now, rather than a designer dress, I want organic cotton leggings. Instead of fancy things, I want experiences with the people I love. I am a different person now, and my version of success is nothing like it was in my past. Inside the Living Simpler Collective, one of the things we talk about a lot is nervous system regulation, because what most of us do not realize is that the chronic stress of hustle culture, the constant pressure of performing and achieving and proving, that is not neutral. It has a physiological cost. Your cortisol stays elevated, your hormones fall out of balance, your gut suffers, your sleep suffers, your relationships suffer. Peace is not a consolation prize for women who could not handle success. Peace is the goal. Lesson 4, your body will whisper before it screams. Listen when you are tired, listen when you are anxious, listen when your body starts asking for care. If you do not listen, your body will make sure you do, and you likely will not like how it does. A stroke at 29, an autoimmune disease at 48. Looking back, my body had been screaming for quite a long time before either of those extreme health events. I just was not listening. This is something I am deeply passionate about, and it is a huge part of why I created the Living Simpler app. Because one of the most powerful tools you have is tracking what is happening in your body every single day. When you journal your symptoms, your energy, your mood, your sleep, your cycle, you start to see the patterns before they become crises. Your body is always communicating. The question is whether you are paying attention. Lesson 5, your health is not a side project. It is the foundation for the life you want to live. In my finance career, I had this couple who had millions of dollars, an amazing home, and everything they could have dreamt of. Yet their health in just their 60s forced them to install an elevator in their home and each have full-time nurses. Their wealth without their health often made their wealth meaningless. They were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars every year for the most basic of care in their 60s. My own life experiences have reminded me that my health really is my number one responsibility in my life. This is not a lecture. I say this as someone who had to learn it the hard way, twice. We do not build our businesses, our bank accounts, or our legacies for a version of ourselves who is too sick to enjoy any of it. Your health comes first. Every decision flows from there. Lesson 6, you can be grateful and still want more. Gratitude does not mean you have to stop growing. I am so very goal-oriented. I am not competitive against others, but I am wildly competitive against myself. My goal for tomorrow is to be better than I was today. I am so grateful for who I am, what I have, and the blessings that God has given me, and at the same time, I am striving for more for tomorrow. I do not know who I would be if I did not have big goals. I want to normalize this for you because I see so many women feel guilty about wanting more. You can look around at your life with deep, genuine gratitude and still have enormous dreams. Those two things are not in conflict. Gratitude keeps you grounded. Goals keep you growing. You need both. Lesson 7. Sometimes the thing you prayed for becomes the thing you outgrow. That does not mean you were wrong. It means you are evolving. One of my favorite movies is The Devil Wears Prada. There are so many great one-liners in that movie, but one of my favorites is, "A million girls would kill for this opportunity." Okay, great. Let them. Just because you wanted it once does not mean that you are not past it. I remember when I left finance to open my first fitness studio. As I walked out on my last day in the office, my boss said to me, "Good luck with your little business." In year 3, my business surpassed his 20-plus year business. That finance job was once my dream job. My studios were once my dream opportunity, and I outgrew both of them. And every opportunity I have today is because of those old opportunities I outgrew. I would not be this version of me without outgrowing those opportunities. I had to have the courage to know it when I was ready to take the next steps. Outgrowing something is our adult version of graduation to the next thing. Lesson 8, rest is not lazy. Rest is wise. Rest is healing. Rest is necessary. After my brain injury 2 years ago, I had almost 6 months where I blocked 2 hours every single afternoon to take a nap and rest my brain. Prior to that experience, I would have told you that was not possible for me, that I was too busy, that my business needed me. That rest was something I would do eventually when things slowed down. Things do not slow down on their own. You have to create the slow. If you are in the Living Simpler Collective right now, you know that we talk about the nervous system constantly because rest is not just about sleep. It is about your entire system getting a chance to reset, repair, and recover. And if your schedule does not currently have rest built in, I want you to ask yourself why, because that answer is usually one of the first things to investigate. Lesson 9, you do not have to earn your worth, not through work, not through achievement, not through being needed. This one is for my fellow Enneagram 3s. This one is for every woman who has ever felt like she was only as valuable as her last win. Your worth is not a performance metric. It is not tied to your revenue, your follower count, your dress size, or your productivity. You are worthy simply because you exist. I know that can sound simple. I know that for many of us, actually believing it is one of the hardest inner work pieces we will ever do. But it is foundational because when you know your worth is not contingent on what you produce, you stop making decisions out of fear and start making them from a place of genuine alignment. Lesson 10, being busy does not mean you are building the right life. Sometimes busy is just a distraction from what really needs to change. My friend Hillary took me to the Landmark Forum and the Advanced Forum in my 30s. It changed my entire life. It was in that moment, long before I learned I was an Enneagram 3 and earned my identity through achievement, that I realized that 70% or more of my daily activities were busy work activities. That I felt more valuable when I worked a full day every day, even if I was not actually doing something to further my goals. I still find myself fighting this. But today, my goals are so wildly big that I do not have time for busy work. So when I work, I try to focus on what I need to do to move the balls forward or serve my clients, and I try to delegate the rest. If you feel exhausted but cannot point to what you actually built this week, that is the signal. Busy is not the same as productive, and productive is not the same as purposeful. Lesson 11, simple is not boring. Simple can be beautiful, peaceful, powerful, and deeply fulfilling. The Living Simpler brand came from my new love for gardening, for my morning walks, for my organic skincare, for my workouts at home, for my nervous system regulation. One of my favorite things to do is to sit on my back patio with a meditation, my journal, Kona, and Mike, when I can convince Mike to be quiet, of course. My home is my sanctuary. My bedroom and my in-home fitness studio are my happy places. I still want to travel and see the world, and I am often happiest at home with my little family and a cup of coffee. There is something inside the Living Simpler app that I designed specifically around this. The ability to check in with yourself daily, to track the small things, to build gentle, sustainable habits. Because the big life transformations do not usually come from dramatic overhauls. They come from simple, consistent choices made every single day. Lesson 12, your energy matters. Who you spend time with, what you say yes to, and what you tolerate all affect your energy. Jim Rohn once taught, you are the sum of the people you spend the most time with. I feel this in my bones. When I spend time with people that are doing the things or looking for the possibilities in life, I am more motivated to be the same. When I spend time with people that are depressed or only see the worst in life, I genuinely feel that energy too. Someone once told me, garbage in, garbage out. So today, every morning starts with a prayer, a meditation, a podcast, or something that feeds my soul. I do not watch the news. I do not read a newspaper. I try to avoid commercials. I try to control what is feeding my brain and my soul. This is intentional curation of your internal environment, and it is one of the most powerful forms of self-care that most people never talk about. Lesson 13. Not every opportunity is meant for you. Some things look good on paper, but do not feel good in your soul. As an entrepreneur, we joke about shiny object syndrome. Just because we can do something does not mean we should. There is only so much time in the day. There is only so much time on this earth. Choose how you spend it wisely. Just because you can does not mean you should. I want you to sit with that the next time something new and shiny comes across your path. Ask yourself, does this align with where I am actually trying to go? Or does it just look exciting in this moment? Your future self will thank you for asking that question first. Lesson 14, you are allowed to want a softer life, a life with less pressure, less rushing, less proving, and more breathing room. I realize this more and more every single day. As a recovering workaholic, I now do my best to not pick up my communications until I have had my walk and my coffee. I time block my days where a couple of days a week are crazy busy and the others are for the things I want to do in my business and my days. I love my time in my garden. I love my hour plus long walks in the morning. I love telling clients I am going on vacation this week for my birthday and we will not be meeting. I hope to serve as an example to them that we build our businesses for more freedom, and the only way to get it is to prioritize it. A softer life is not a smaller life. It is a more intentional one. Lesson 15. Boundaries are loving. They protect your peace, your health, your time, and your relationships. I have often heard that we teach people how to treat us. If we are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, people expect us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If we sacrifice our own health for someone else's goals, but often they did not even ask for that, we are only harming ourselves. When you teach people how to treat you, everyone is happier because everyone knows what to expect. It does not mean that the process of first setting and enforcing the boundaries will be fun. But in the long run, everyone will be happier with the end result. Boundaries are not walls. They are the clearest form of communication you have. Lesson 16, you can love people and still need space. Love does not always mean full access to you. I am very fortunate that as an adult, my parents are so much softer than they were when I was a kid. I have some friends whose parents are harsh. Tear them down and make them feel like a 3-year-old harsh. Some don't want to spend holidays with their family and actually have rules for how family holidays will go if someone starts to misbehave. I have friendships that are dear to me, but that I also keep at an arm's distance because of some of the expectations and patterns of those friendships. We're actually often better friends because of that space. Sometimes space is protection of the relationship, of your energy, and of your nervous system. Lesson 17, the right people will not require you to abandon yourself. They will want the real you, not the exhausted or edited version of you. Today, I say what I think way more than the younger version of me did. I know not all of it will be popular. I know that I am very blessed to live in a country that allows me to be who I am and say what I think. We may not always agree on everything, and I respect others' rights to their opinions and hope they can do the same with me, and we can all still love each other and be friends. You do you. Along with that conversation about space, the relationships worth having are the ones where you do not have to shrink, perform, or pretend. Lesson 18. Your intuition gets louder when your life gets quieter. Sometimes you cannot hear your own wisdom because life is too noisy. I tell clients all the time, when you feel confused, stop and listen. Your gut often knows more than your brain. You just have to be willing to take the time to sit in silence, prayer, or meditation to find that inner voice and inner wisdom. This is another reason the journaling and reflection tools inside the Living Simpler app are so close to my heart, because when you create a daily practice of getting quiet, of checking in, of writing down what you notice, you start to hear yourself more clearly, and that clarity changes everything. Journals may be one of the things I set my eyes on next, because I know in my bones that my time journaling each day is one of the best uses of my time. Lesson 19. You do not have to explain every decision. No is a full sentence. Some decisions are between you, God, your heart, and your future. This is one I had to earn. The younger version of me over-explained, over-justified, and over-apologized for every boundary she set and every decision she made. I still find myself often over-explaining things to my husband, Mike, when I feel like he doesn't understand where I am coming from. You do not owe anyone a dissertation on your choices. No is a complete answer, and I am constantly reminding myself that is okay. Lesson 20, aging is a gift. I have learned this more and more over the past few years. Every birthday is proof that we are still here, still learning, still becoming. I am turning 50, and I am not sad about it. I am proud of it. I am a totally different human than I was at 40, even more so than I was at 30, and even more so than at 20. Every day I feel like I learn something new. Although I haven't always made the right choices, every choice I have made has brought me to this person here today, and I am proud to have become her. 21. Your body changing does not make you less beautiful. It makes you human. I stopped Botox a few years ago after my autoimmune issues. I still color those grays at the top of my head. I have more wrinkles. I have more beauty tools for the wrinkles. But I am proud of the way I am aging and the way I take care of my body at this point in my life. There is something deeply freeing about releasing the pressure to look a certain way and choosing instead to focus on how you feel. That is what we work on inside the collective. Feeling good in your body, not performing youth, actually living in health and alignment for who you want to be. Lesson 22. You cannot hate yourself into health. Real wellness comes from care, love, patience, and small daily choices. In my 50th year, I believe more and more that our mind creates our reality. Find the good. Love yourself. No one else can truly know you or love you if you do not know you and love you. This is the foundation of everything we do inside Living Simpler. It is not discipline and deprivation. It is care. It is curiosity. It is asking your body what it needs and then actually giving it that. Lesson 23, burnout is not a badge of honor. It is a sign that something needs to change. I recently heard someone say that burnout is when we have worked so hard but not experienced enough wins. I felt that in my bones. Even if I have worked my tush off, if I feel like I am making progress, it feels worth it. When I feel like I'm spinning my wheels and not achieving anything, that is when I most deeply feel burnout. If you are in that place right now, I want you to know that you need to reevaluate what it would take to earn a few more wins. It will change your perspective on everything. Lesson 24. You are not behind. You are living your life on your timeline. Mary Kay was 45 when she launched Mary Kay Cosmetics. Vera Wang launched Vera Wang Bridal at age 40 after not being able to find a wedding dress she liked. Who is to say what your timing should be? I hope to work in some fashion till the day I die. I do not know who I would be without my work, but I also hope that there will come a day when I do not have to work so hard. Do not compare your messy middle to someone else's beautiful, highly curated success story. Everyone you are comparing yourself to has a chapter they have not shown you, especially on social media. Lesson 25. Starting over is not failure. Sometimes starting over is the bravest and healthiest thing you can do. Whether it is a career, a home, a relationship, no decision has to be for the rest of your life. I know that may sound awful to some people, but seriously, did we really know who we were at 18 when we started college, or at 24 when we got married? We will all continue to grow and change. I think that is what life is all about. If something isn't working, it's time to reevaluate. And that is the first 25 lessons, my friends. 25 lessons lived, learned, and carried forward into this next chapter. I hope that somewhere in here, one of these landed for you. I hope something made you stop, take a breath, and give yourself a little more grace. Next week, we finish the list with lessons 26 through 50, and I have a feeling part 2 is going to hit just as hard. If these conversations mean something to you, will you do one thing for me? Share this episode with a woman who needs to hear it today, because chances are you know someone who is white, knuckling through a season that she does not have to face alone. And if you are not already a part of the Living Simpler Collective, this is your invitation. It is where women who are done doing health and life the hard way will come to learn, connect, and build something gentler and more sustainable for themselves. You can find everything at living-simpler.com. And if you have not downloaded the Living Simpler app yet, it is available now. It is the daily companion I wish I had during every hard chapter in my story. Habit tracking, journaling, cycle syncing, and more, all in one beautiful place. For today, what is one thing that you can do to live simpler and live better? And thank you for being here. Thank you for turning 50 with me. I will see you next week for part 2.